Good morning and thanks for joining us on the news. I am Samuel Udofia. Governor Udom Emmanuel has inaugurated residential apartments for the expatriate staff of the Ibom International Specialist Hospital, Uyo. Colonel Edem Efreti reports that some of the doctors, especially those from India, have already taken up residence in the apartments.
The residential apartment, which can best be described as a medical village, is made up of 40 units of 3 different categories with boys' quarters. Situated on a 46,000 square meters land at the Shelter Afrique Estate, the facility has a supermarket, water treatment plant, a central dining for residents, swimming pool, and a standby electricity generating plant. Governor Udom Emmanuel described the inauguration as historic, noting that it symbolizes the state's commitment to offering specialized health services comparable to what is obtained in advanced countries. The governor, who announced plans to outsource most of the state's secondary health facilities in a public-private partnership to enable them come alive and safe well, commended the Nigerian Immigration Service for promptly issuing visas and work permits to some of the specialists engaged in the hospital. He paid tribute to the immediate past governor of the state, Chief Gospel Akpabio, for initiating the project.
When I came in, I promised Akwa Ibom people that after Uncommon Transformation, there's going to be what we call sustainable development. And you can't discuss sustainable development if you don't talk about education, health care, security, safety, and by extension, you're talking about wealth creation, and then employment, industrialization, and the rest of them. So the commissioning of this magnificent one-stop residential complex for specialists who would have probably been somewhere else under medical tourism, but today they are at our quaternary hospital in Uyo here, in Akwa Ibom State. The Ibom Specialist Hospital is a milestone of this administration and also the past administration. So, as we have heard from the preceding speakers,
earlier, the Commissioner for Special Duties, Engineer Etudo Inyang, said that the facility is of international standard, adding that the apartments were designed with the well-being of its residents in mind.
Your Excellency, in line with your 5-point agenda to provide high-level infrastructure, has ancillary facilities that will actually facilitate the good livelihood of the people that are here.
The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Dominic Ukpong, on his part, said the facility solves the main challenges of security and accommodation which doctors often face. Dr. Ukpong said with the residents available, the hospital would take off immediately, adding that the medical tourism overseas would be reversed.
There are very many other things that make a good doctor and provide good health service. Yes, there is remunerations and so forth. The security and accommodation are very key factors without which a doctor might not be able to have peace of mind to render the good health.
The medical director of the specialist hospital, Dr. Ayemi Johnson, announced that with some expatriates already taking up residence, the hospital will begin operations next week. Dr. Johnson, who commended Akwa Ibom State Government for investing in the project, promised to deliver the highest expected services to complement government's investment in the sector. The Commissioner for Lands and Housing, Prince Uwemi Taituk, thanked the governor for siting the facility in Ibesikpo Sultan local government area and assured that residents will enjoy peace and tranquility the area is known for. Colonel Edem Efreti reporting.
Governor Udom Emmanuel has called for concerted prayers to enable Akwa United Football Club win the Federation's Cup, holding today at the final holding at the Teslim Balogun Stadium in Lagos. Governor Udom Emmanuel made the call at the Government House monthly prayer meeting held at the Latter House Chapel, Government House, Uyo. Colonel Edem Efreti once again takes a step.
Mr. Udom Emmanuel said that Akwa United has worked its ways to the finals of the competition and that they deserve the support of fans to enable the team to win the Federation Cup. Mr. Manuel said he will join in supporting the team and directed that the giant screen at the Ibom Plaza should be restored to enable the populace watch the match live. On the current fuel situation, the governor said that he has appealed to the federal government to encourage the state to start a refinery, adding that Akwa Ibom would supply the nation with fuel. The governor said he has had talks with petroleum dealers and made efforts to make the Calabar-Itu road motorable for the trucks to move freely, but that the products were not available at the depot.
For the first time, Akwa Ibom State, Akwa United has qualified for FA Cup finals. So they will be playing in Lagos. So when you pray in your closet this night, let that be the first gift for us this year in terms of sports, that we should come back. Somebody was doing an analysis, said the last time this part of the country won an FA Cup was in 1956. Don't we marry the cup? It's not that anything is inside. Victory is victory.
The service, which featured songs and prayers for the state, the government and the people, had the prelate of the Believers Assembly Nigeria, Prelate Isaiah Ison, preach on the theme No, No, No.
That we are living in the midst of wicked men and women, and even the Bible tells us in Psalm 41 that our greatest enemies are not people that are too far away, but are those.
Colonel Edem Efreti reporting.
The House of Assembly Committee on Works and Transport has paid an oversight function on the Ministry of Works, where it pledged a commitment to cooperate with the executive for the effective execution of government projects in the state. Led by the chairman of the committee, Mr. Idomasid Itwen, it met with the Commissioner for Works, Mr. Ephraim Inyang, and the management of the ministry. Mr. Itwen observed that government had good intentions and meant well for the people of Akwa Ibom in some of the quality infrastructure it was providing, but promised that the committee would ensure such projects were executed according to plan. He solicited the cooperation of the Ministry of Works in the performance of the oversight functions of the committee.
We know that the governor has good intentions for foreign people, and the last administration has set a good standard in delivery of projects. We would ought to sustain that and even improve upon it. I know that in the course of your responsibilities, you may have reason to ask questions, you may have reason to verify things.
The Commissioner for Works, Mr. Ephraim Inyang, told members of the House of Assembly Committee on Works and Transport that full compensation has been paid by the state government to persons affected by erosion control efforts. He also told them that the redesigning and intervention works at the Atabong Bridge and the Uruafiong Etok in Eket local government area would be done in phases.
These are specific issues. I would want to start with Oro Nation. There were issues of Goni affecting Efia Street, Efia Lane, Bassey Lane, up to the post office.
The recent victory of the member representing Mkwarenin State Constituency in the House of Assembly, Engineer Otobong Ndem, at the Court of Appeal has elicited celebration among his constituents. Sitting in Abuja, the Court of Appeal had on the 22nd of October 2015 struck out the appeal by Mr. Ubong Ikpe of the APC for being statute barred, thereby upholding the ruling of the Election Petition Tribunal on the case. The report is here presented.
Addressing them, Engineer Ndem described his victory at the appellate court as victory for the people of Mkwarenin local government area. Observing that his was a divine mandate, the lawmaker told the people that with their continued support for him and the state governor, dividends of democracy would be awash in the constituency.
Also assure you that your victory and the support will slow down.
Engineer Tubongdem also received the Ikpaibom Ward 1 Clan Council, led by the village head of Ikoro Bitong.
In fact, this area that we are Ward 1, that's the Ikpaibom Ward 1. This is the first time of having this position in our territory. So we are glad about it, and he is performing.
Engineer Ndem assured the chiefs that he will do everything possible to alleviate the sufferings of the people of Mkpareni local government area through effective representation.
So this is an opportunity for them to come and know the office of the state constituency, to visit their son, who is a member that is supported to be in the House of Assembly. So it's a good opportunity. I'm happy to receive them in my office.
We'll take a short break, and after the break, authorities of the University of Uyo react to publications in 2 local tabloids. In a moment, stay.
There is a land of great beauty and wonderful people. Here, Mary Slessor called home until she passed on to greater glory. Here, Lord Lugard lived and administered Nigeria. The hills roll like the waves, and the waves rise like the hills. A land named after God, Akwa Ibom State, the land of promise. Welcome to Akwa Ibom, the land of promise.
You're still watching AM News, and I'm Samuel Udofia. Authorities of the University of Uyo have reacted to publications in 2 local tabloids on the selection of the Vice-Chancellor designate for the university. The Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council of the University, Professor Temse Okoko, in a media parley in Uyo, described recent publications in Global Concord and Weekend Sermon to the effect that the process of selecting the Vice-Chancellor designate, Professor Enefiok Essien, was compromised as senseless, wicked, and pitiful. Chris Ikoto filed the story.
Who told media professionals that, contrary to insinuations contained in the said publications, the process of appointing a new Vice-Chancellor for the university commenced in April 28, 2015 and concluded on Friday 16th October 2015 with the appointment of a professor of commercial law, Enefiok Essien, as Vice-Chancellor after a painstaking, thorough and uncompromising, transparent process. The Pro-Chancellor, who was flanked by top management staff of the university, said that the council, in exercising this right, was guided by the process as stipulated by the University Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1993 and the University's Provision Amendment Act of 2013. He said that a total of 19 applicants responded to the advertisement at the close of receipt of such applications on Tuesday, 9th June 2015, adding, however, that 5 of such applications came from the contacts made by the search team, while 14 were independent applications. He said that 11 applicants were shortlisted at the first meeting of the selection board. Professor Okoko said that after individual interaction by the applicants with the Joint Council and Senate Board of the University, and in conformity with the relevant laws, 3 best candidates in the rating order, Professor Enefiok Essien of the University of Uyo, Professor Ben E.A. Ugajafo of the University of Lagos, and Professor Okon A. Ansa of the University of Uyo were recommended for appointment of one as a Vice-Chancellor.
It is critical to mention that the selection board did not receive any petitions whatsoever. Selection board did not receive any petitions whatsoever from anybody or group against Professor Enefok Esse. Throughout the entire exercise, the only petition against Professor Okon A. Ansah at the time was treated by the selection board during the interaction session. It is also most insulting for some faceless and homeless so-called reporters to advance a wicked, senseless, and pitiful accusation that the process was compromised.
Professor Okoko said that the council was not under any pressure and was not penetrated by any person or group and did not receive any petition from anybody or group against Professor Enefok Esse throughout the exercise. The Pro-Chancellor told the media professionals that all the youth operating in the University of Uyo have written to congratulate Professor Enefok Esse and the process through which he emerged as the new Vice-Chancellor of the University of Uyo. Though he acknowledged that a few individuals who felt dissatisfied over the process and disappointed of the new Vice-Chancellor have petitioned the NUC and the presidency, he said it was wicked and senseless for some reporters to go to street with information they do not have facts. He, however, commended some sections of the media who called to verify the report before publication.
The Director General, Akwa Ibom Broadcasting Corporation, Pastor Aniatie Ukpeh, has advised journalists in the state to evaluate the motive of those who give them news leads, so as not to be misled into publishing falsehood. Pastor Ukpeh gave the advice at the inauguration of the Management Committee of League of Newspaper Publishers in Akwa Ibom. Represented by the corporation's Public Relations Manager, Mr. Eddie Ekpayon, Pastor Ukpeh said persons who give reporters story leads sometimes do so with ulterior motives, explaining that this could be to blackmail those they consider rivals, bring down people in authority, or generally cause problems in society. The Director General observed that with sound professional training and adherence to the code of ethics of the profession, journalists should be able to publish only stories that enhance the common good and growth of society. He also advised newspaper publishers to improve the competence of their reporters by organizing training for them. The chairman of the Management Committee of the League of Newspaper Publishers, Mr. Ernest Akpan, promised to re-engineer and enforce professional discipline among members so as to regain their constitutional mandate as a fourth estate of the realm. Mr. Akpan described their assignment as a call to service which the committee would give by rebuilding what he called the broken walls of the media business, which according to him has been threatened by those he referred to as blacklegs. November 21 of every year has been set aside by the United Nations to appreciate the invention of the television and its impact in bringing about world peace and security, as well as economic and social development. In this special report, Mercy Akere chronicles the commemoration of the World Television Day.
World Television Forum on November 21 and 22 of 1996, it had an objective of discussing the significance of television in a contemporary society and to consider ways which leading media figures could enhance their mutual cooperation. After the 1996 forum, the United Nations General Assembly proclaimed November 21 of every year as World Television Day. To many, the television is a major tool of broadcasting and has various functions.
Television is exerting its role in the parlors, in the bathroom, now even in the cars of viewers, and letting them to know and see the reality of events as it happened.
That's the primary function of educating, informing, entertaining. Television as a tool for mobilization. You have the Dakada initiative. You see what is going on there. news, it's for information. We have programs that will entertain you. Then we have programs that will educate.
I love watching television because I want to know what's happening around the world.
I